Welcome to my lunchtime live. I'm gonna wait for a few people to join and then we're gonna get going. Welcome. I'm not sure which day we are on, and while we wait, I want to show you these amazing flowers from our garden. They smell incredible. I don't know why flowers don't smell like this at the store, but these smell really amazing. And today is Thursday. Can't wait for the weekend. I don't have much planned, but I plan to sleep a lot. And if you're hearing noise outside, I live next to a school and I love the sound of playing children. Today we will be talking about how resilient mothers build character in their children. I have all my notes here. Hello, welcome Ingrid. I have all my notes here. We're going to be talking about how resilient mothers build character in their children. If you are new here, you're going to be catching the recording later. I'm Sandra B. I help women build resilience in themselves and in themselves and their families through biblical wisdom and emotional maturity. That is what we do. We talk all things resilient. More importantly, it's biblical wisdom. We talk about biblical wisdom because I firmly believe the older I've gotten that the Bible is the best place to get all the wisdom you need in the world. Tell me about yourself in the comment, or if you're catching this later, let me know how you found out about me and who you are. I would love to know a little bit about you. So I want to speak about how resilient mothers focus on character and not comfort. Biblical principles of character is not primarily about behavior. When the Bible speaks of character, it's not usually about behavior. It's not about following rules or achieving moral perfection through willpower. It's always about the Word of God and the Word, the Spirit, and the things that you can do practically for you to build character. It is fundamentally about the condition of the heart and one's relationship with God, biblical character. But as parents, it's very tempting to often focus on behavior because it makes us look good and it makes us feel good. Hello, Amy. If you just joined, we're talking about how resilient mothers focus on character. It's fundamentally about the condition of the heart and the relationship with God. But as parents, it is tempting to often look only at the behavior because when our children behave well publicly, it makes us look good and makes us feel good because, hey, we are getting the praises of men when our children behave well. And external behavior is very misleading because your child could be behaving really well, but you don't know what else is going on in the background. And Jesus was very strong on this topic of external behavior. That's why he dealt so harshly with the religious leaders because they were more concerned about the external behavior rather than the internal. They were more concerned about how they look to other people rather than the condition of their heart. And us, in building our children's character, it is more about focusing about their heart. How do we bring our children to become men and women of character through their heart, not through behavior? Character is both done by the Holy Spirit and human responsibility. So there's the work that only the Spirit of God can do, and there's work that only you can do. And that's what's so amazing. We are co-creators with God. We are collaborators with Him. He's not asking us to do everything ourselves. He's saying, I have given you the ability and the power to do this. And us is to make the decision, for our children to make the decision, I want to be a woman or a man of character. And humility is central in forming character because it's not about moral superiority, but it's about recognizing that one's own failing and one's dependence on God. We have to be dependent on God in order to be to have character, in order to build character. Otherwise, we become prideful. We begin to think of ourselves as better than other people, or think that our children are better than other people's children because of the way they behave. So humility is very important. Character cannot and will not be developed in isolation. It is formed in relationships, where you have relationships and accountability. It is in serving others that you build character. Sorry, there's something in my eye that's bugging me. It is in serving others that we build character. It's never built in isolation. It's through relationship, through accountability, through being asked, you said you were going to do A, but you didn't do it. What happened to that? So it is important that we realize character is built in community. Community is very, very important. Character is built when we love our neighbor as we love ourselves. And as parents, I want us to be careful that we do not take the language of the world and begin to bring it into our homes. Like the big language in the world at the moment is self-love. The concept of self-love is not biblical. It is not in the Bible, so we should not take outside concept and begin to bring it into our lives, right? Alice, hello. We are talking about building character in our children. Thank you for joining. We should not take cultural languages and make them part of the language. If we are choosing to build our lives and our homes based on biblical principles, then our language matters. So it is important never to use the world's language. The world language speaks about self-love, about love yourself first. You can't love you can't love others without loving yourself. That is not true. The biblical principle is love your neighbor as you love yourself. And in that, the Bible speaks about a healthy. What does the Bible mean when it says love your neighbor as you love yourself? Because it's focusing on a healthy regard of self. Because you are not going to be mean to your neighbor. You are not going to speak badly to your neighbor. You are not going to be harsh with your neighbor if you are not harsh with yourself. So we only learn to love others, to love ourselves in the way we love others, right? So self-love is not a biblical principle. We'll speak more about this later. I will do another whole live on the language that this world uses, and somehow as believers we begin to adopt that language. Okay, now let's get on to practical things of how we can build character in our children. Before I carry on, hello Ingrid. Oh, thank you, Ingrid. I love that. Thank you. Thank you for joining. I'm so glad you are here. Welcome. Before we carry on, I have my journal here. It's called Sacred Moments. It's a prayer journal for parents and grandparents and aunties and uncles. And if you are a godmother, this is you will be able to write all your prayers, and then you will give to the children later. And also the book that Ingrid is mentioning is Unyielding Strength, a book on resilience. So both of them, you can get them in the link. And there's always the Family Resilient course that you can get on the link as well. If you're not part of my community yet, join and sign up for the 3 days challenge, where you get to know a bit more about me, and then you can decide if you want to go on journey with me on building resilience. Okay, so let's get back to what we're talking about. How do we build character in our children? Number one is prayer. I said pray. As you pray, it's important when you pray, you write the prayers for your children, because you want to be able to show it to them. Remember, this is generational blessing and wealth we are leaving for our children. So write it down. You, as a parent, cannot transform your children's heart. Only God can. You cannot transform your child's heart. This is why prayer is essential. Always pointing them back to God's heart, His way of thinking, His way of feeling, His way of deciding. So the way of God, it's about putting your children back. What does God think about this? How does God feel about this? What would God do about this? It's always pointing back them to God, because when we point them back to Him, it's about His character, love, forgiveness, and purpose. We always have to point back our children to God, to Jesus. I'm going to say Jesus because everybody says God. Point them back to Jesus, His way of thinking, feeling, and deciding. Always point your children back to Jesus. Number 2, modeling character. Children learn more by watching us than by what we say. You cannot say that in this house we do not lie, and then you get up the phone and say your girlfriend asks you, where are you? You're like, you're busy lying, you're busy gossiping, you're busy doing all the things you're telling your children not to do, and you think your children are going to model what you say to them. They will only model your behavior. So it is important that what we speak and what we do are congruent. If they are not congruent, you're wasting your time. Our children catch character. They catch more our actions than what we teach them. So how you treat others, your children will do the same. How you behave in anger, in frustration, that is how you are teaching your children to behave. That's why in Deuteronomy 7, it's Deuteronomy 6, verse 7. I've got my Raggedy Bible here. Guys, I can't read without glasses, and I forgot my glasses at my desk, so I'm going to try. It says, you shall teach diligently to your children, impressing God's precept on their minds, penetrating their heart with His truth. You shall speak to them when you sit in your house, when you walk on the road, and when you lie down, and when you get up. Meaning, we build character in our children in the mundane things of life, in the everyday things. It's not just in the lecture. Sometimes you have to lecture. But it is in the everyday, boring stuff your children are learning and building character. It is in how you speak to their dad, to your spouse. It is how you speak to your domestic lady. Guys, I hope you don't scream and shout at your domestic people, your gardeners, in front of your children and treat them badly, because your children are learning that the people that work for us are not people. Those people are created in the image of God. Do you treat your staff well? Do you treat your spouse well? Do you treat your siblings well? You cannot tell your children to speak nicely to their sibling when they hear you gossiping about your sibling. You cannot tell them to be kind to their sibling when you are harsh to your sibling. We cannot do parenting in hypocrisy. We have to practice what we preach. This is how our children build character. Let me know your thought on this in the comments. I would love to hear what you think. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm here to also learn. Remember, we are learning together. So let me know what you think when it comes to building character. Is it in the talking, or is it in the action that we do that our children catch? Okay. Number 3, your heart over behavior. It is tempting to focus on external behavior. You don't just want compliance in your children. You don't want just them to obey or to follow the rules. It is a heart issue. And the heart of the children must always be turned to God. The prayer for my children is always that, Father, I pray that you give them a heart of flesh and not a heart of stone. Children must learn to submit before they are given freedom. There is no freedom without submission. They have to learn to come under your submission before they can have freedom. If they don't know how to submit, they will rebel against every authority. They have to know how to submit. Character is formed in submission and in humility. Those two things are very important. Submission reminds you that you're not the greatest person on the planet. The whole world does not revolve around you. There is order, there is submission, and humility reminds you that you are no better than other people. Just because you are good at something, It doesn't mean you are better than other people. And this is why children are so good for us. They humble us. Just when you think you've cracked parenting, and then they do something that will shock you and that will take away your judgment of another parent. So this means having a lot of conversations with your children about things that matter, helping them understand their own heart. It's always about dealing from a place of identity than behavior. Like I always tell my children when they behave in a certain way, I always tell them, is this who you are? If they say no, then I say, then why are you behaving outside of character? Don't behave like the person you are not. Behave in character. Behave in identity. Your identity is who you are. So help them understand their own heart. Why did they behave the way they did? Help them understand that. It's not just always about correcting your child. You did wrong, you did this, you did that. But speak to them, have conversation, deal with the identity, not the behavior. Create a culture of connection, of reconciliation, and of natural consequences. Sometimes you don't have to be harsh with your children. Actually, you should never be harsh with your children, because there are natural consequences to our behavior. Sometimes you don't even have to give out consequences, but there are just natural consequences to their behaviors. So have conversations with your children. And you might say, I'm tired of having conversations. Hi ladies, we are talking about building character in our children. If you have just joined, welcome. Please introduce yourself and how you found me. I would love to know a little bit about you. I love it when people join. It's so humbling. So please let me know a little bit about yourself. You might say that I'm tired, I've had a long day, I've been at work. Well, tough. You chose to have children. You chose to have children, and it is our responsibility to raise them. I guarantee you, ladies, if you are not discipling your children, somebody else is. Just because you are not doing the parenting, it doesn't mean it's not happening. If you are not parenting your children, somebody is parenting your children. And whose values do you want your children to embody? Do you want your values and your biblical principles, or do you want some random person on social media to parent your child? That's the scary part. Parenting is happening regardless of whether you do it or not. So have conversations, create a culture of connection, of reconciliation, and there are always natural consequences. And when I mean conversations, I don't mean you talking all the time. I mean really having a conversation with your child, understanding where they're coming from, and also going in it with humility and curiosity, because you could be wrong. You are human, and that's okay. Number 4, biblical discipline. We have to discipline our children. The world is a mess because a lot of people are not disciplining their children. Always remind them that your intentions toward them are good. I tell that my children all the time. You know what happens is our children begin to fear. They think that our intentions toward them are bad. And when fear creeps into a child's heart and becomes cemented, it hardens their heart, and fear distorts the truth. Think about yourself when you are fearful of something, of someone. All reason flies out the window. Fear distorts the truth. So it is important to always remind our children that our heart towards them is always pure. Our intentions toward them is always pure. Therefore, when I am disciplining you, it's not because I am mean or unkind or I'm trying to hurt you. It's my intention towards you is pure. And because my intention towards you is pure, you can receive it with love. And fear does not need to take place in your heart, because I'm always for you. Even in my discipline, I am always for you, just like God is always for you, right? And teach them, like as parents, sometimes we can get angry. We have to remind ourselves and them that discipline comes from love. We aim for restoration and not punishment. So I am disciplining you, not because I want to punish you, but because I want to build character in you. And in that, I want us to restore this relationship. And we have to take responsibility, right? It helps them see the natural consequences of the behavior. It teaches them wisdom and consequences, I've said that. And let them experience what it means to be truly forgiven, to be forgiven when you have messed up. So, please, moms, I beg of you, do not give your children the silent treatment after they've messed up. It is the worst thing you can do to your child's heart. And one, do not give them the silent treatment. Two, can you not please walk up and down the house, be shouting at them for the thing that you have done? Oh, look at that. Welcome. Hello, Matlatle. I think I've said your name properly. Still learning to say names properly. It's important that I say people's names properly. It's very important to me. No, it's not always easy to build character in our children. It's not always easy. Most times it has nothing to do with them, actually. It has to do with us and our own triggers and our own traumas that are showing up in ways when we are disciplining our children. Let me know if you agree with that. Sometimes it has nothing to do with our children. It's just us and dealing with our own things, right? I was saying, do not give your child the silent treatment after they've messed up. I'm going to come and discipline you myself. Just kidding. Number 2, do not walk up and down repeating the same thing. Remember how our mothers used to do it? Blah, 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 blah. You are walking up and down, traumatizing that child. No, we don't do that here. And if you do that, may the Lord forgive you as you forgive yourself. Stop it, right? Stop doing that. After a hard time with your child, there must always be forgiveness. Well, after they've asked for forgiveness, connection, and restoration, and the natural consequences. And do not give consequences and then take them away. Then character is not built. Because they know, I'll mess up, my mom is just gonna take it away from me, right? Let your children feel the consequences of their decisions. It will build character in them. I promise you it will. And remember, we are parenting. We are growing together. I've never been a parent before. They've never been a child before. So we are learning. Oh, if you just come in, look at these flowers, ladies. How beautiful are they? They smell amazing. They're from my garden. I wish all flowers smelled like this in the store. Anyway, number 5. Teach them to think, not just to obey. Teach your children to think for themselves. Teach them how to navigate questions, difficult questions. Teach them how to ask questions. Teach them to navigate wisely. Teach them to develop discernment. I always ask my children, what do you think? What could you have done differently? What do you think that's wrong? Why did that upset you? What would, if it upset you, what did it bring up in you, right? Because when you're doing that, they are learning to understand the cause and effects of their behavior and other people's behaviors towards them. They are learning to have good conversations because they have to ask themselves. They are learning to look at things objectively and subjectively. It's a good skill to develop. It's a critical thinking. And ask them when they feel something, well, all of us, when we feel something, what is the underlying belief regarding this feeling that I have, right? Ask questions. Don't always give solutions. help them think through their solutions. What do you think, moms? Let me know in the comment how you have these conversations with your children. Let me know if this has worked for you, if you've never done it before, if you are keen to try it, having conversations. Because when you have conversations, it also helps them make good decisions. So let me know in the comment. I would love to hear your thoughts on how you make decisions, how you teach your children to make decisions. For me, my husband is really good at asking questions. I tend to just babble like I'm babbling right now. And but I'm learning to ask questions with curiosity, even when I have upset them. You know, as a mom, you know when you've upset your child. Instead of ignoring it and moving on, ask them, I can see that you're upset after our conversation. Did I do something to upset you? Did I say something to upset you? And brace yourself. Don't ask that question if you don't want to hear the truth. And do not defend yourself when they've told you what you've done wrong, because it's teaching them to just keep quiet. Take responsibility. I know parenting can be tough, right? But bye-bye. See you soon. You can I'll be uploading them on YouTube. You can watch the rest of the video. The last point that I'm going to add is to create a culture of confession and forgiveness. When you mess up as a parent, you have to acknowledge it and ask for forgiveness. Teach humility, model repentance, take responsibility. Your kids will learn to be honest about their shortfalls when you are honest about your shortfalls. It will be good for them. So choose to be honest. I've come to the end of today's live. Remember, Sacred Moment Journal. And share this with your friends. If you think this is valuable to you, please share it with your friends. And I will see you again tomorrow. Lots of love.